Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Sorry I didn't make a video for so long. I think it's been 3 weeks now. Maybe more than 3 weeks. It's because I've been so busy with school. My schoolwork has taken up all of my energy and all of my time. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't make a video. But I'm making one now. I know I said that this would be the year of the good goddess. And I still believe it's the year of the good goddess, but there's been some very sad news. Very, very sad news in the news. In the news, it's been very sad. And I don't know what to tell you, folks. It's as serious as it can be. It's as bad as it could be. It's as bad as it's going to get right now. And could be getting even worse pretty soon. It's the end of the world as we know it. And it's Biden's fault. That's all I have to say. It's Biden's fault. The situation with Russia and the Ukraine. Russia gets into a war with Ukraine. We back up Ukraine. Russia gets into a war with us. This deal with the Ukraine could be the start of World War III. And I'll tell you something. Putin is shipping enough armaments to the border of Ukraine, not just to take over Ukraine, but to take over all of Eastern Europe. He's shipping enough tanks and enough troops to Ukraine's border to move into Poland, to move into Germany, to move into Czechoslovakia and the former Yugoslavia, move into all of the former Soviet satellite countries that were there, that they had conquered. They had conquered all of Eastern Europe and was under their rulership for who knows how many years. And now they want it back. They want back all of their territory and then some. Maybe they even want to conquer France, England, the U.S. They want to conquer the entire world. And because they want to conquer the entire world, I don't know what to tell you. It's as bad as it's ever been, and it's as bad as it's going to get, because it could get even worse, because the situation is building up. He's shipping thousands of tanks, thousands of guns, just in their thousands, to the border of Ukraine. Much more of a buildup than he needs just to conquer Ukraine. Much more. Much more. It's a disproportionate military buildup, and it makes me think that he wants to conquer all of Europe with his tanks and his guns and his bombs and his guns. In your head, they are fighting. You know that song. Yeah, with his tanks and his bombs and his guns. In your head, they are fighting. That's what he wants. He wants to get into a nuclear war with the West. And he's going to have China's help. China wants to attack India. They have their eyes set on India, and they have their hopes set on conquering India and making it a part of China, and then repopulating all of India with Chinese people and disposing of the native Indians, subjecting them to the same rape, mind torture, and brainwashing that they subjected the Tibetans to. No, India is next. And India's been harboring the Dalai Lama. They've been wanting to take the Dalai Lama out for a really long time. So they have their eyes on India. China does. And China has its eyes on Taiwan, but that's not going to isn't what's going to get us into World War III. What's going to get us into World War III is that Ukraine and Russia moving into the Ukraine. Russia and China would love to conquer the whole world and rule it together, and they'd rule it together as a communist dystopia. The whole world would be a communist dystopia, but nuclear war is going to take out an awful lot of people. An awful lot. Biden should think about that. Biden should think about that. This would have never happened if Trump had won an election. Wouldn't have happened on Trump's watch. But Biden doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to handle Putin carefully enough, and Putin is very offended. Putin is very offended by Biden, and it's enough to make him want to do his worst. And the whole country will follow him. They won't go against their beloved leader, the beloved. Russia would follow right in lockstep with Putin. Putin wants a nuclear war, and he's crazy enough to do it. Then Putin will get a nuclear war. No question about it. Biden should not have insulted Putin. That's it. That's all there is to it. He shouldn't have insulted Putin. Even if Putin was a murderer, he shouldn't have said so publicly where everyone could hear it, because Putin is in charge of Russia. He is in charge of Russia. He is the master puppeteer. The master puppeteer pulling all the strings in Russia. And you insult him, you've insulted all of Russia, and Russia is ready to move in for the kill now. They're ready to move in for the kill, and it's all Biden's fault, and Biden is threatening, and then he said, oh, we might have a lesser response if it's a minor incursion, to make Putin think he can invade. Yeah, he can invade right away because it's a minor incursion. And a minor incursion, an incursion is an invasion, right? An incursion is not some hackers on a computer typing and invading Ukrainian or American computer systems. That's not what an incursion means. An incursion is an invasion, and the leader of Ukraine was right to be angry about that, and he was right to be upset. The leader of Ukraine was right to be upset that U.S. is making such a big deal out of this, because he wants to keep Putin calm if he can. Putin is a snake, and he's aroused. It's impossible to keep him calm. It's impossible to keep him calm. He's a rattlesnake, and his rattle is up and it's wiggling and jiggling and rattling all the way. And he's ready to strike. He's ready to strike with deadly force at any moment now. If he's not afraid to use deadly force on the Ukraine, which is his beloved satellite country, what do you think he's willing to do to the U.S.? Oh, he hates the U.S. He loves Ukraine, but he hates the U.S. He just wants Ukrainian land, and he wants the Ukraine subservient to Russia. He wants to build an empire, an evil empire. He wants to rebuild the evil empire. It's like that part with Star Wars where it was after the evil empire had fallen, there was a new threat to the galaxy. Was the splintered pieces of the evil empire reformed and were ready to strike. And that's the way Putin is right now. He's regrouped, reformed, and he's ready to strike now. So I sincerely do not know what to tell you. All I can say is that now, because of the situation being what it is, and with Putin in office, that we have to prepare for the worst. We have to prepare for the eventuality of a nuclear war with Russia. And Putin may not survive. I mean, Biden may not survive. Biden might not survive a nuclear war with Russia. Biden might not survive. Kamala Harris might not survive. All of our leaders are at risk just going up in a puff of smoke overnight, and we don't know. We don't know if they will or not. We don't know when the final moment will arrive. We don't know when the final moment will arrive. Right now in the news, Biden is appointing a new justice to the Supreme Court, and he vowed it would be a black woman because he wants to make history yet again for all his firsts. First black female VP, first black female Supreme Court justice. I don't care. I really don't care. He should pick the best person for the role, but I really don't care who he picks for the Supreme Court justice. He's going to pick a ultra liberal. I really don't care because it doesn't affect me at all. It doesn't affect me, so I don't care. But the situation with Putin and the White House threatening him, saying that there will be very severe repercussions, just more sanctions, right? More sanctions. They've survived many a sanction. They've survived many a sanction before, and they'll survive again. They want their hands on the Ukraine and all of Eastern Europe. They're going to get it. And then they won't need to be sanction free because they'll own maybe all of Europe. Maybe they'll conquer all of Europe, and then they'll be sanction free because they'll have Europe under their belt, and Europe will be forced to trade with them. Europe will be forced to trade with them because they own all of Europe. It has always been many a small boy's dream, fantasy, with his little green men, his little green soldier men, his little toy soldiers, to conquer the world. It's been many a boy's dream to conquer the world, and it's Putin's dream. He would love to conquer the world. He doesn't care how many people he has to kill to do it. He doesn't mind if he's hated as long as he has power. He doesn't mind being hated. He just wants power. And Biden's giving him the perfect excuse to put his finger on the trigger. He's putting his finger right on the trigger button for the nuclear Holocaust. All because of Biden. It's Biden's doing. Don't know why people chose Biden. Don't know if it's in some Nostradamus epilogue telling people interpret that Nostradamus stuff any way they like. They interpret Nostradamus any way they like. They skip around. They skip around and say, oh, this means this. Nostradamus is open to interpretation however people feel like interpreting it. And there's a lot of stuff from the Bible in Nostradamus too. Because of course Nostradamus was born after the time that the Bible was written, so he could be influenced by it, right? So no surprise there. No surprises. But I don't know if Nostradamus saying that Hitler was coming was a prediction of Hitler. I don't know. It's all jumbled and mixed up. They skip around and say this means this, this means this, this means this. And yeah, the visionaries foreseeing the doom and gloom of the future. But it's not going to be the end of the world But for a lot of people, it will be the end of the world for them because they'll be dead if a nuclear war erupts. Biden has to be very careful, and Biden is not a careful guy. He's got a big mouth on him, and he loves to mouth off. Biden has been mouthing off ever since he got into office. He's had a big, big mouth. He said nothing. He stayed nice and silent during the lead up to the election. But after the election, he had a big mouth on him and said whatever he felt like. And now his mouth is getting us into war, nuclear war, possibly. Possibly. A nuclear war with Russia. Russia's getting all its military ducks in a row and getting all ready to invade all of Europe. And we have to be... He doesn't want Ukraine joining NATO at all because he has his sights set on Ukraine. That's the only reason he doesn't want them joining NATO, so that he can excuse himself for conquering Ukraine and say, "Oh, Ukraine, they threw a Molotov cocktail at one of our soldiers, so we had to invade. Yeah, and we had to conquer all of Ukraine and neutralize the threat posed by Ukraine. This little Ukraine poses a threat to the former USSR, right? All of Russia is threatened by Ukraine. No, it's the other way around. Russia is the threat to the Ukraine, and they want to possess the Ukraine for themselves. They want to make it a satellite country of the Russians. They want all that real estate. They want to move in. Kind of like the Golan Heights that the Israelis wanted to move in and claim all that good real estate and land for themselves. So, I don't know what to tell you. It's as serious as it can be. And what does it mean for us? Well, what it means is that we have to be prepared to survive a nuclear winter. We've got to have canned goods on hand and some sort of cooking fuel like that can be used indoors, like those fuel, not fuel pellets. I don't think it's fuel pellets. It's those fuel canisters that you can use to cook at a party, like an indoor barbecue sort of deal, or heating buffet trays. The heaters that they use for buffet trays, those canisters, fuel canisters they use for buffet trays, can be used for cooking, for heating water, for heating canned goods, and for heating, especially heating to boil water to make pasta, rice, beans, even meat. You have to be ready. Now, just as far as holidays go, purification is supposed to be starting soon. I'll let you know when purification begins, once I figured it out. The beginning of purification. But maybe a different kind of purification this year might be ethnic cleansing. It's going to take place in this country of ours. It's going to be all Americans and all the world under threat. All Americans, especially the Americans in the inner city, are going to be under threat of death by nuclear holocaust. So we're all under threat. All of us are under threat, but especially people living in the city are under threat of nuclear war. So that's it. The saddest video I've ever had to do, that telling you about this threat of possible nuclear war provoked by Biden And it's like he's totally blind to the danger. He's totally blind to the danger, just says whatever he feels like. And it seems like Fox News is blind to the danger too. They're not suggesting that there could be a nuclear war, but there could be, and it's a real threat. It's a real, honest to goodness threat. So, no one's mentioning it. I have to mention it because we have to stick up for each other and watch out for each other and have each other's backs. So I have to mention it, that it could be the beginning of a nuclear war. I'm Sarah Jane Alpha Wolf signing off. Have a terrific week. And I hope your preparations are complete, because you're going to need all of them to face the bleak winter ahead.